Morning folks, Kevin here. Well, it's November 13th, 2024. I'm out behind the shop right now, and one of the things I wanted to do was to try creating some fire starter as well. And certainly there's tons of YouTube videos on making fire starters, or you can just buy it from Mike Morgan with Outdoor with the Morgans. He sells it as wood shavings, wax, paraffin coated wood shavings, and people love it, so that works out pretty well. And there's videos that I've seen recently, and I wanted to create some. Now, we do save our own wax, our beeswax, from the bees, but I thought it would be a tremendous waste putting it in the wood stove to send that up as well. So I did recently, after watching some videos on YouTube, I invested in a couple of things. One is a small little candle maker pot here, and you might be able to see down there I've got some paraffin wax down in there right now starting to melt. So what I'm using is some household paraffin wax here. See if I can get my camera to go in the right direction here. Apologize for that. So that's paraffin household wax. I'm going to use a small amount of paraffin lamp oil added to the wax. The blocks come in large blocks of wax. I'm going to use some cotton pads. So here's an example of a cotton pad. This is what I'm going to use as a fire starter. I'm going to use a set of tongs, immerse it into the paraffin wax once it's been melted, and then just set it on some cardboard. It's just above freezing right now. It was 28 degrees this morning, Fahrenheit. And we'll see how this works. So mostly paraffin wax, which isn't really healthy. The reason I'm doing it outside is because this stuff is not healthy for us to breathe. Candles really aren't the healthiest thing for people, quite honestly. So just to be aware of that, it can affect your respiratory system, and it can certainly affect your central nervous system as well. So your lungs and your breathing apparatus and your nervous system. So those are just a couple of things to be aware of when you're using wax made products, candles in your home, with the fragrances that they add to them. They smell beautiful, but not really healthy for you. And I thought I'd pick a pretty calm day where I'm just at the border here, just outside of the shop, to do this. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and create some of these small little cotton swabs. Now these cotton swabs are for applying makeup, I think, something like that. I'm not really certain, or removing makeup. So they take up small space. They can absorb a great deal of the paraffin wax, and they can ignite and run for several minutes, burn for several minutes. And if you add the paraffin lamp oil, a small amount of it relative to a small percentage relative to the amount of paraffin wax, supposedly that makes it burn much hotter as well. So we're going to give this a shot and see how well it works out. So here we go. Okay, so the wax is melting. So this is what one of the blocks look like, and here it is inside of the candle making pot here with a small heater below it. I've separated out quite a few of these cotton rounds. I guess they're called cotton rounds. Now I'm going to add a small amount of the paraffin lamp oil to this. I'll certainly get a much smaller container. Had it cross-threaded there a little bit. probably all that's needed. Well, we still have a little bit of the solid wax in the base there. And I've mixed in the lamp oil. So I've got some tongs, set it in there, let it drip off. And see the wax on the end of the tongs already solidifying this cold temperature. Okay, all of these little fire starter discs have solidified. Look at them here. It's like a candle here. Now the people online, the YouTube videos that I did see, people said how great these are for starting fires. We'll see. Hopefully it does work great. The heating, the element's still very, very warm there. So and I'm putting them in one of our used sandwich baggies that we use for freezing vegetables and all. So I probably did about 50 here in total. And we don't start fires as often as most people do, with our house being super insulated, being passive solar. On a day like today, with the sun being out, it's a nice warm house. Okay, so that's how many we made. And the other thing I did do was I went ahead and poured some over scraps of wood. That either, like, this was a shipping container. So I decided, what the heck? Oh, little ladybug. So I cut them up like this, little pieces of wood. If I don't have enough of the small chunks from splitting firewood. And with our stove, it's a 24-inch, takes 24-inch logs, firewood chunks. And what I've discovered is a lot of the times they stack so tight that there really isn't great airflow around them, so it takes a little bit longer to get them started. So if I put a couple of these wedges in there, that increases the airflow, and things work out pretty darn well. So we'll see how this works as well. So that's our experiment with fire starter. Okay, it's a couple of days later now after making the fire starters, and so we're in the house. This is our Yodel F500 V3 Oslo wood stove. We've fallen in love with the Yodel wood stoves. We've had a couple of different Yodels in the past. They're made in Norway, and the version we had before takes 18-inch long logs, and I've decided to go longer. So this one takes 2-foot long logs. Extremely efficient. You can load it from the front and from the side. Either way, yeah. Make it dirty here. We're doing this. And there's no need for a back damper in the back of the stove at all. You just have one control for controlling the airflow. It does have a clean out down below, but this is super efficient. And with our thermal mass, so we have 3 chimneys here. The one chimney in the center goes outside of the house. The other 2 chimneys have air intake at the peak, so as heat rises in the house, it sucks that heat back down through the other 2 chimneys, goes underground, and it goes into a large thermal mass, a heat battery under the house. And so that just radiates out the heat throughout the day. So a wood stove like this, you know, you fire it up once a day in a cold climate like where we live, and for most people that would suffice and take care of the night and all. With us, you know, we can do it every few days. If there's sunshine, because it's a passive solar home and our windows are to the south, then that heats up the house as well. So all this thermal mass, all this stone stores the energy, and certainly there's much more stone under the floor, like a crawl space in most people's homes. And I've gone over this in other videos. So I'm not going to go over that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a little camera down below here, and we'll test out the fire starters that we just made and see if they're going to work. Okay, so here we go. Here are the fire starters. I'll put 2 in here. if it doesn't work, oh well. So I can't really see them. Let me see. Okay, they're lit now. If I can keep from knocking them over. No, I just squished one out. I'll put this piece in here. That's one of the pieces of wood. There's somebody turn that over. And do I have enough room for one more piece in here? Always make sure the clean out drawer down below. So there's a drawer down here for cleaning out the ash. And some people will say leave this door open a crack to let it get started. But I think what I'm going to do is just leave this here, leave the airflow all the way to the right, which is allowing the most amount of air in. And we'll see. So I'm going to click this over to time lapse, because this is going to take a while, I think.
When the snow falls down and the world turns white, we gather around the wood stove's light. Cold winds blowing outside the door, but here by the fire we feel warmth once more. Oh, we love a winter fire in the wood stove's glow, crackling flames dancing slow. It's a beautiful warmth so deep and true, keeping us cozy the whole season through. Logs stacked high by the stove's old side, each one a story of warmth inside. With every spark, every ember bright, the chill of winter fades from sight. Yes, we love a winter fire in the wood stove heat, soft orange glow, comfort sweet. The warmth fills the room, holds back the frost, a simple pleasure never lost. Yes, we love a winter fire in the wood stove heat, soft orange glow, comfort sweet. The warmth fills the room, holds back the frost, a simple pleasure never lost. Outside the world's a frozen sea, but in here it's just you and me, wrapped in the warmth so safe and sound, with the fire crackling all around. Morning to night it lights our way, through winter's depths, through every day. The wood stoves hum a steady song, keeping us warm as the nights grow long. Oh, we love a winter fire in the wood stove's glow, crackling flames dancing slow. It's a beautiful warmth so deep and true, keeping us cozy the whole season through. So here's to the fire, so strong and bright, warming our hearts on the coldest night. The winter winds can howl and moan, but here by the wood stove, we're home. So here's to the fire, so strong and bright, warming our hearts on the coldest night. The winter winds can howl and moan, but here by the wood stove, we're home. snow falls down and the world turns white, we gather around the wood stove's light. Cold winds blowing outside the door, but here by the fire we feel warm once more.
So I'd say that the fire starters work very well. Didn't take long at all for the fire to get started. I just used one small piece of wood and the two cotton rounds that were soaked in the paraffin wax and lamp oil. So I'd say that worked out very well. Didn't have to play with it, haven't opened the door. It's probably an hour and a half later now, and the fire is going great. Lots of heat being generated, lots of energy being stored in the chimneys and in the floor. So real happy with that. So we'll give you an update at some point in time in the future as I modify how we're going to approach making fire starter in the future and all. This worked pretty well. Two little pads took right off, and we're able to get those logs started. And there was a big gap in between the two big logs that I laid down there in the beginning. So that's it for this video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Stay safe and take care. Bye-bye now.